we'll try to make it as simple as possible. If you have any questions along the way as we do things, just let me know.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
So what brings you here today?
I'm kind of feeling stressed out and like a little all over the place. Like I don't really know how to put it into words.
Okay. So what do you have going on?
Well, I'm working, I'm going to school, so that's a lot all at once. I'm working full time, I'm in school full time.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a little stressful, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
So where do you work?
I work at CVS.
And you said you do that full time?
Yes,
What's your position there?
I'm a manager.
Okay. Well, I can see how that could be stressful working full time as a manager. And you're going to school for.
I'm going to school for nursing.
Okay. So still kind of healthcare related being in CVS, but a little bit of a shift there.
Yes.
What prompted that?
The nursing or the job?
The nursing, sorry.
The nursing? I don't know, I've always really been into health and helping people, and I've always been kind of like a natural healer, so I figured that's a good career for me, and I'm not squeamish or anything, so I can handle blood, I can handle everything like that, so that's not an issue for me. So I feel like that's the best option for me, and it just seems very rewarding.
Okay. And you do go to school close to home?
A little bit. I travel like about 30 minutes.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It could be way worse, so
And how many classes are you taking?
4.
Wow, so 4 classes, and how many hours a week are you working?
I'm working about 45.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot to manage. So what do you do other than school and work?
When I'm not in school or work, I either hang out with my family or I hang out with my boyfriend. We live together, so
Okay.
we'll hang out.
How long have you been with your boyfriend?
It's been on and off for about like 9 or 10 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So did you know each other from school?
Kinda. Well, we met at my first job. I was working at the boardwalk, and he was a customer of mine and gave me his phone number. And then a few years later, we wound up meeting in community college.
Okay. And you would say that your relationship's pretty good with him?
It's pretty good. It's up and down. Like I said, we've been on and off, so we broke up a few times. Things are they're like okay now, but still a little bit stressful with him.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, that would put a sore point in your day, considering you have so much else going on. Could you tell me a little bit more about the breakups?
Well, he kind of likes to party sometimes. I'm not a partier. I'm kind of like a homebody.
Okay.
And sometimes he'll drink a little bit too much and come home and start fighting with me. He'll yell about things that I have no control over, or he'll yell about simple things like the dishes, like things that aren't as big of a deal as he's making them out to be. And then when he's sober, he's fine and he's loving and he'll help everything. But when he's not sober, he's like we fight a lot more.
So he gets really upset about certain things that you think are not important. What kind of things are those?
Like if there's like 2 dishes in the sink, it's a huge deal. Like I understand if it's like a pile of dishes, then okay. But it'll be like a dish and a spoon, and it'll be the end of the world, and he'll freak out. If the laundry isn't folded, or trying to think of like another. I don't know if he thinks I give him an attitude when I'm talking to him, even though I'm talking to him normally, he'll assume it's an attitude and starts a whole big thing.
Now, are the chores split at home, or do you take on most of those responsibilities?
For the most part, it's split. We're pretty good with it. We actually do like the dishes together. Like one of us will wash, the other one will dry, and then we switch spots next time. Mm-hmm. So we try to do a lot of the chores together, so it's not like a burden on just one or the other.
Yeah, that usually works pretty well.
Yeah.
So so you usually work together, but he's complaining if you're not doing it by yourself.
Only when he's drinking.
Okay.
That's the only time he really is like nasty. So
Okay, and is he always been a drinker? Is this recent?
It's been on and off. He goes through spurts where sometimes he'll be drinking only on weekends, and that's okay. And then other times he'll come home from work and start drinking. Sometimes he comes home from work and is already kind of drunk. But it's not all the time. It's not like for months at a time. It'll be like 1 week he's coming home drunk, the next week he's sober, or 1 month he's completely sober. He'll go sober 3 months, and then he'll start drinking again. Like, it's very on and off. It's not really a cycle, so I can't track it or anything. So it's a little
Okay.
stressful.
So you can't track it. I mean, how does that make you feel?
I'm very stressed out because I don't know the side of him I'm going to see that day when I'm coming home from work or school. I don't know if I'm going to come home to loving sober boyfriend or drunk about to walk into a fight. I'm not, like, every day is different. I'm kind of walking on eggshells.
I like how you said that. Makes me understand it better. So it's really uneasy at home. Work is stressful and you have a lot on your plate. But it seems that the situation with the boyfriend is putting the most stress on your day to day. Would you say that?
Yes, definitely. Because work
Okay.
really isn't that stressful. I can shut my mind off and still go do my daily job because it's not difficult.
Okay.
So it's definitely mainly my home stressor and probably school.
Okay, so you've been together 10 years, on and off. So you break up when he goes through a cycle of not being sober? Is that what you correlate here?
I think so. I can deal with like a week or so, but sometimes he'll go an entire month of just drinking almost every day. And that's when it's the longevity of it. That's when I kind of will be like, all right, you know what? I'm not dealing with this. I have enough on my plate. I'm leaving. And I'll stay with my parents or one of my friends or something for a while.
You can't disrupt your life like that. That sounds really hard.
Yeah, especially since we live together. So moving out so abruptly is definitely a hassle, especially since my parents live a little bit farther away. So then everything, work, school, everything is farther away.
And it's usually you who makes the break, it's not him.
It's usually me, yeah.
Okay. Now, when you get back together, do you talk about the break or what happens?
We talk about the break and why I decided to leave, and I tell him everything that made me uncomfortable and made me want to leave, and I talk to him to see what he wants to do to change the fact, to make sure I'm not going to walk into him being a mess in another week. So I had him go to therapy and had him go to meetings in order to get me back last time. Because last time we were broken up for about 4 months, which was our longest breakup. And I told him if he wanted me in his life anymore, he needed to get help. And he actually decided to do it, but lately I don't know if he's going anymore. So.
What makes you think he's not going?
He started coming home more erratic lately. Because he's been doing okay for the past like 2-3 months. He's been doing pretty well, and he shows me he has to get a paper signed because he's been in trouble from drinking before. So
oh, wow.
Yeah, so his parole officer made him sign papers, so he shows me the signed papers to prove to me that he's trying, and he gets papers signed for his therapist. So he's proving to me that he's going the extra mile. I just don't know if it's working or if he's learning anything from it or if he's just going to make everyone else happy. I don't know if he's going for himself.
Yeah, I mean, that is incredibly hard to deal with, going up and down, not sure where things are going. When you confront him, what kind of situation is that?
He starts being like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a problem. I don't drink every day. I don't drink like that. Why are you thinking it's a problem? And he kind of goes into like denying it, saying like, I don't have a problem. You have a problem with my lifestyle, and he'll turn it around on me and say that I'm the reason, or he's only getting help because of me. and like he kind of makes me feel guilty for it.
So what kind of things do you say to him when that happens?
I always tell him that I'm not the one who gets in trouble. I'm not the one who will come home screaming. That when we fight, it's usually him, and I can't take the constant fighting, especially trying to build myself up so we can have a nice life together, and he's putting a damper on it. So we kind of blame each other, which I know isn't really okay, but I don't really know what else to say in those situations.
Okay, so it's a back and forth blaming. Does anything else happen?
He'll raise his voice, and then sometimes he'll leave the house, and I won't see him until like really late that night. Like sometimes he'll come home at like 4 o'clock in the morning and just reek of alcohol. I'll have him sleep on the couch at that point because I'm not sleeping next to somebody who smells like a distillery.
Okay, so do you feel safe with this situation? Do you feel that he would harm you in any way?
I don't think he would harm me. He's never laid a hand on me. The worst he's ever done is he's thrown a bottle at the wall, but it didn't hit me or anything. So I don't think he was aiming it at me. I think he was just frustrated and threw the thing, whatever was in his hand. So like I don't really feel threatened or anything.
So he's only thrown that bottle once. He's not done anything else physically. It's only just been verbal.
Yes, it's mainly verbal.
And it kind of sounds like you have control of the situation because like he comes in and you tell him, you know, I don't want you to be near me tonight. He goes to the couch and there's not an argument about that.
There is argument about it, or he'll give me an attitude and be like, okay, yeah, whatever, and like grab his pillow and like storm off, and he'll slam the door, which like disrupts our dog. So like he gets kind of loud about it, and it'll be like an argument, but I kick him out anyway because I'm not dealing with it. So
No, that makes sense to me. So you're here mostly because of stress, and there's additional stress at home.
yes.
Okay. What are some things that you do besides hang out with your boyfriend?
I'll get lunch with some of my friends. I'll hang out with my family members. I'm really close with my niece, so I'll take her out on like little excursions and stuff.
Oh, what do you do together?
I'll take her to museums. She likes to read, so we'll go to the library. She's only 3, so we're kind of limited